Haitui was an abrupt shift from winter calm to crisis, a nature disaster unfolding under the cold skies of Canada in mid-January 2026, as an extreme weather system delivered heavy snow, blizzard conditions, and hazardous travel across Ontario and southern Quebec. From the early hours of January 14th onward, snow fell without pause across the Greater Toronto Area and beyond, burying streets under as much as 30 to 40 centimeters of snow, with strong winds and bitter temperatures adding to the peril. This was a storm that forced closures, halted flights, snarled traffic, and became the story of the week in Canadian weather news.
Good Lord, it's coming down sideways.
The atmosphere was dense with falling snow, each flake part of a larger weather system that drew Arctic air deep into populated regions. Environment Canada's warnings escalated from yellow to orange alerts, signaling severe weather likely to cause widespread disruption and risk to life and property. The storm's development began days before landfall, as a strong Arctic cold front pushed southward from northern Canada, colliding with moist air surging from the Great Lakes Basin. That clash of air masses fueled intense snowfall bands, sustained blowing snow and gusts that made temperatures feel far colder than measured by the thermometer.
Good Lord, it's coming down sideways. Look at those carts, they're just...
Ontario Provincial Police reported responding to hundreds of collisions and calls for assistance, with dozens of vehicles stranded or overturned in slick, snowpack conditions. The sheer number of crashes overwhelmed emergency dispatch centers, and motorists were urged to avoid travel unless absolutely necessary. At Pearson International Airport, one of North America's busiest travel hubs, operations were severely constrained. Runways covered in deep snow forced hundreds of flight delays and cancellations, leaving travelers stranded in terminal lounges and hotel lobbies. Major airlines, including Air Canada and international carriers, grappled with the storm's logistical chaos. In Ottawa, the capital city, snowfall totals reached more than 20 centimeters in many areas as crews battled to clear key routes. A citywide parking ban was enacted to speed snow removal, and transit services experienced significant slowdowns as icy conditions persisted into the night.
Good Lord, it's coming down sideways. Look at those carts, they're just gone. Whole lot. Despite the storm not yet surpassing historical snowfall records in some regions, meteorologists underscored its severity. The combination of heavy snow, wind chill, and infrastructure strain created a high-impact weather event that tested municipal emergency responses and emergency preparedness plans. Good Lord, it's coming down sideways. Look at those carts, they're
Officials
just...
pointed out that winter storms in Canada routinely present serious risks, and that more Canadians die from cold and snow-associated hazards each year than from many other extreme weather events combined. The Federal Weather Agency continued to issue safety guidance throughout the storm's progression.
remained on the streets, clearing roads, aiding stranded drivers and restoring mobility as quickly as conditions allowed. Across communities, stories emerged of neighbors helping one another shovel driveways, deliver essentials to those snowed in, and check on elderly residents cut off by the storm's weight. As snow finally eased late into the weekend, cleanup shifted into high gear. Crews focused on clearing arterial streets, reopening highways, and restoring public transit links. Yet many secondary roads stayed buried, and travel advisories remained in effect as temperatures hovered far below freezing. Power outages persisted in isolated pockets, and the risk of black ice on untreated surfaces kept emergency responders vigilant. Across affected regions, authorities reiterated the need for cautious travel and preparation for additional snowfall expected in the days ahead. The storm underscored both the raw force of nature and the resilience of communities in the face of extreme weather. Cleanup operations and recovery efforts continued, with a focus on restoring normalcy while maintaining vigilance for further winter weather risks. In the quiet that follows the storm, the landscape lay buried beneath a thick white blanket, a reminder that in Canada, winter's fury can arrive suddenly, demanding respect, preparation, and collective effort to weather its challenges. Cities such as Toronto, Hamilton, Kitchener, Guelph, and regions extending east into Montreal's periphery were all under Environment Canada snowfall warnings as crews worked round the clock to keep major arteries passable.